do, I thought would be kind of fun, is we're going to take all the Halloween images that we carry around with us and dress up as, and metaphysically interpret them, what they are in us. Because what happens if we deny our feelings and suppress emotions and ignore our issues, nobody here does that, right? If we do that, they show up in spooky behavior. Anybody have anything show up in your life and would I do that? Did I say that? And that's why most horror stories take place at night when it's dark, because they represent those hidden aspects of ourselves, and they show up as spooky behavior. So today, are you ready to face your inner monsters that lurk inside of you? You ready? Are you ready to be triggered? Are you scared? As Yoda would say, you should be. You should be. Okay. Well, it won't be that bad. First of all, I took some ideas. I got the inspiration from a book by Carolyn Mace, and Milena Dawn had started some of this, and then I put my own metaphysical slant on it and added to it. So let's start with Count Dracula, who's here today, vampires. Let's start with vampires. But first of all, why did Dracula divorce his wife after she had a blood test? He found out she wasn't his type. Okay. The archetype of the vampire stands for, has anybody ever had an energy vampire in your life? People that drain you. They feed off your life force, and they make you your source and substance of their life energy, and they suck the life right out of you. Have anybody had that happen? So, or the worst, none of us, but you may be a vampire if you desire another person to take care of you or to be it all for you. Or the flip side of that is if you're tired or drained from being codependent and for allowing someone else to use you or drain you. So if any of this is relating to you, repeat after me, or even if it's not, it's good to reinforce it. I am codependent no more. Together, I am codependent no more. I free myself, to allow my own energy, to flow. How's that feel? Everybody take a breath. We can be our own energy. And the other kind of vampires are the chronic complainers. I'm not talking about a 5-minute whine. You all know I love a 5-minute whine. But those people who just never stop. And they sing the same story over and over and make you listen to it over and over. Or those who have constant power struggles and arguments that drain you. Now the good news is with vampires, we don't need a stake in the heart. We don't have to go that far. We can use prayer. So repeat after me. I release and let go of my neediness. Together, I release and let go of my neediness. Or the flip side of that, I release and let go of my need to be needed. Together, I release and let go of my need to be needed. Here's another one. I don't have to drain others.
I don't have to drain others.
All the power is in me.
All the power is in me.
And finally, I know my union with divine source and substance. Together, I know my union with divine source and substance. Everybody breathe. Take a deep breath. Right. Now, for the next one, you have to answer a riddle to figure out what this one is. What costume do mothers dress up as on Halloween? Mummies. I heard some of Joseph. I knew Joseph would get that. Was it Tyler? Oh, Jen. Oh, yay, Jen. All right, mummies. So how do you know you're a mummy? You know you're a mummy. Count on fingers now. There's a lot of them. If you're wrapped up in old ways of thinking. Anybody here wrapped up in old paradigms and old ways that that's the way it's always been? Are you wrapped up in protection to insulate you from any wounds That's another way. Are you wrapped up in unforgiveness of those old wounds and constantly singing "Somebody Done Me Wrong" songs? Anybody here wrapped up in that? Do you need to preserve or hold on to people or things that no longer serve you? Any hoarders in here? Oh, I know you're out there. Repeat after me. I free myself to allow the good to flow. Together, I free myself to allow the good to flow. Take a breath. Let it all go. Okay, how about zombies? You've been waiting for the zombies, right? First of all, a riddle. What do zombies consult to find out their futures? Horoscopes. I kind of like that one. What is the inner zombie? And anybody feel dead inside? Some days you feel like the Walking Dead, that you're not fully engaging in life. I just saw a quote on Facebook from E. Cummings, who once said, being undead isn't being alive. In other words, just because you're not dead, that doesn't mean you're fully alive, right? So we have to reanimate ourselves with new life. Try something new, make a change. Repeat with me. I release and let go of what no longer serves me. I call forth new life and vitality. Together, I call forth new life and vitality. Oh, breathe it in, breathe it in. Okay, how about any werewolves here? Werewolves are always fun. Did you hear about the wolf who ate too much garlic? His breath was worse than his bite. Or what happened to the werewolf who fell into the dishwasher? He became a Washington werewolf. Okay, that was bad. I kind of like that one. So what's a werewolf archetype in us? Well, any sudden or unwanted change in temperament. And even the spiritual people on the spiritual path, can still go to Mr. Hyde, Dr. Heckle, which one was it? Am I saying it wrong? I always say to people, if I haven't eaten in a while and my blood sugar drops, not a good time to tell me you'd be a better minister than me, all right? Not if my blood sugar's low. If my blood sugar's up there, we can talk. But you don't want to approach me when my blood sugar's low. But you know what happens? We fear our shadows. Something inside of us is struggling to come out because we've been ignoring it, and we're so afraid it could wreak havoc that we keep denying or suppressing, and then it comes out in the dark as one spooky behavior, right? So we love to watch werewolf movies because they make the unspeakable safe to come out. That's a place we can process it. So when your inner werewolf comes out, simply say together, it is safe to face my shadow self. Together, it is safe to face my shadow self. Or as the Course in Miracles says, I choose once again. Together, I choose once again. All right, breathe, take a deep breath. All right. Number 5, a lot of witches here today. So, first you have to answer some riddles. What do witches use for research? Wikipedia. How do witches get good bargains? They haggle. What do you call a witch's garage?
Broom closet.
I knew you'd get that one. Broom closet. Right, there you go. I knew you'd get that one. This is my favorite, though. What's the problem with twin witches? You never know which witch is which. Okay, we'll leave that in. So witches are all about power and control, casting spells to control the elements. The key word here is control. And if the ego controls, it can backfire on us. It can come back on you and not quite work out right. It's so much safer to use the spiritual power of prayer, because prayer is done with love and grace. If you would repeat with me and fill in the blank at the end. I call forth the power of divine love to heal, to restore. Together, I call forth the power of divine love to heal, to restore, to prosper, to guide you, whatever it is. The power of love and grace, or surrender. Does that scare you? Surrender. I let go and allow the good to flow. Together, I let go and allow the good to flow. Everybody breathe. Everybody breathe. Number 6, ghosts. What kind of dessert does a ghost like? Ice cream. Think about that a little bit.
Sheet cake.
What's that?
Sheet cake.
Sheet cake. Oh, that's a good one. I'll take that. That's better than the one I had. Why did the ghost go into the bar? For the booze. Where's Magic? Magic has that t-shirt on today. So ghosts are simply a spirit without a body. Do you ever feel invisible or not seen? You're not being heard, not being respected. I don't count. Do you ever feel that way? Call back your spirit. Learn to speak your truth with confidence. Repeat with me, I stand confidently in the truth of my being. Together, I stand confidently in the truth of my being. Or how about this one? I dare to live my authentic self. Together, I dare to live my authentic self. All right, breathe, breathe. Number 7, everybody's favorite, Frankenstein, right? Who did Frankenstein take to the Halloween dance? His ghoul friend. Oh, that one's bad. So you may be Frankenstein archetype if, have you ever feel like you're falling to pieces? Have your friends ever said, pull yourself together? Yes. And the way to do that is to stay in the now, center in the one presence, one power, and call forth the divine power of love. Because what did Charles Fillmore say about love? It's the glue of the universe. So the power of love, or as the Beatles say, with a little help from your friends, the power of love can pull yourself and glue yourself back together. Have it stick. Yes, the power of love. Everybody breathe it in, the power of love right here, right now. Well, we go to number 8, skeletons. Why do skeletons love to eat at restaurants?
Ribs.
They can order spare ribs. Close. I got to come up with some better ones. Joseph's too good at these. So skeleton bones are all dried up. Do you ever feel all dried up, dead inside, but you grin and bear it anyway? We have to nourish ourselves, get back in our bodies and enjoy life again. That's why we laugh at Halloween, to start bringing that spirit back into us. It's important to live while you're still alive. And that's what skeletons remind us. These Halloween archetypes are all based on fear. And Halloween is the perfect opportunity to face those fears and laugh. And so we wear costumes, we go to movies, we listen to music, and we eat lots of candy. That's the best way, isn't it, to deal with fears? Anybody seen, there's an old movie from 1954. You won't believe who's in it. It's called Them, and that's been remade a few times. But the original, guess who was the original star of that movie? You got it? Huh?
You.
Me? Oh, I'm old, but I'm not that old. Actually, it was James Arness who played in Gunsmoke. Can you imagine? He was the original sheriff or detective or whatever in that movie. Everybody was afraid because the nuclear bomb had just been exploded in Los Alamos. And so the whole movie was all these ants that morphed into giant killer ants because of the nuclear explosion. You see how they process their fears through that movie. We do that. That's why we make up stories. We sit around the campfire, like Kate read in the Daily Word today, and we tell spooky stories. Certainly when you were growing up, how many here got the story when you were a teenager of the 2 kids that were out parking? You know the story already. And they had the radio on in the car, and there was a murderer out there with a hook for an arm, and he was slashing people, and they got scared and took off real fast, and when they got home, what did they find?
The hand.
A hook on the door. Remember them? Yeah. I think that was the story that was started by parents wanting to take the fun out of parking. But anyway, we all were. Now they're buried, and maybe down south they had a different ending, but that's the way us Yankees heard the story up north. All fears are separation issues. Of course you're going to be afraid if you believe you're separate from source and substance. No wonder why we need Halloween. The truth is we are in union with the divine presence. The universe is conspiring in our favor. And all we need to do is open to the power of love to glue it all together. So I'm going to count to 3 and everybody say boo, and I go to 3. 1, 2, 3, boo! Now let's pray out the fear. Let's just go within for a moment and connect with the source and substance that is deep within you, expressing as you, and know that all the power of the divine is in you. Whatever is needed, call it forth now with love and light and with joy, and go out and be that love and light in the world, joyously, graciously, in the nature of the Christ. And so it is, so it truly is. Amen.